To all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is about T20 World Championship. Should be easy to comprehend. You all must have watched. You have already experienced, I suppose. But there are some important words you can learn from this editorial. Let us start with the question, what is the enrichment? You will improve your comprehension skill. Today, it is important from vocabulary point of view. Grammar consolidation, effective English, mini mocks. If you ask the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial celebrates India's victory in the ICC T20 World Cup 2024, ending a long drought in ICC tournament since 2013. Here, drought means not getting a title for a long time. Good morning. What is the tone? Obviously, they won the championship. It has to be on the positive note. The tone of the editorial is celebratory and reflective. An important word, reflective, means to think deeply about something. For that, we use a few words like contemplate, introspect, brood over, dwell on. But the last two go more with good morning. The last two go more with past. When someone thinks a lot about the past, we say don't brood over the past, don't dwell on the past. And the first two, someone is in deep thoughts, thinking whether what he has done or she has done right or wrong, introspect or contemplate. We can also think of the word pensive. And the third word, reflective. Let us go to the editorial vocabulary. The very first word, gargantuan, this is adjective. Extremely large on and enormous. The construction of the new stadium was a gargantuan task that took several years to complete. Gargantuan means extremely large, enormous, huge, gigantic, colossal, tiny, small, minute. An important word, but we have got a few times. Diaspora. This goes with, imagine from India, some people have gone to some other country, and those Indians settled in some other country, we use the word diaspora. Indian diaspora in the US, Indian diaspora in the UK, that's how we refer to those people. The dispersion of any people from their original homeland. The Jewish diaspora has communities spread across many countries. Generally, in this context, you can think of Indian diaspora, dispersal, scattering, migration, concentration, gathering, congregation. Congregation, an important word. Catharsis, we have got this for the first time in the recent past. Part of speech noun, the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. You control your emotions for a long time. When you get the right opportunity, you release all those controlled or suppressed emotions. Then we use the term catharsis. In this context, you have to recollect if you suppress or control your emotions, that is known as pent up emotions. That is also an important expression. Watching the emotional film provided a catharsis for many viewers. Purging, release, relief, an important word. Antonyms, repression, suppression, and retention. More than retention, we think of words like suppression, regression, repression. Doughty, we have got this word for the first time, part of speech adjective. Brave and persistent. The doughty soldiers fought valiantly against the invading forces. Courageous, valiant, steadfast. Cowardly, timid, fearful. Astutely, astute adjective form, astutely adverbial form. Having or showing up, here astutely adverb. having or showing an ability to accurately assess situations or people and turn this to one's advantage. Some people are very good at assessing the situation or analyzing the people's thought process. Based on that, they act. Then we usually use the word shrewd. Look at the sentence. She astutely managed the company's finances, leading to, excuse me, leading to record profits. Shrewdly, wisely, cleverly. As I said, generally we use the word shrewdly. Foolishly, naively. Naive means a beginner, a person without experience. And unwisely, simple word. Dumbstruck. When you're shocked to a great extent, we use this, dumbstruck. Part of speech adjective, so shocked or surprised as to be unable to speak. Dumb has two different meanings. One meaning, generally we use the expression deaf and dumb. Being silent, a person who cannot speak. Another meaning of the word dumb, a person who is not clever, a person who is not intelligent. The audience was dumbstruck by the magician's incredible trick. Incredible means unbelievable. Speechless, stunned, astonished. Unimpressed, indifferent, blaze, I suppose. Abrasive, usually this goes with metal, but in this context, the pitch of a substance or material capable of polishing or cleaning a hard surface by rubbing or grinding, of a person or manner showing little concern for the feelings of others. Generally, we say abrasive material. His abrasive remarks often hurt people's feelings. Means what? No concern for others' feelings. Harsh, rough, coarse. Smooth, gentle, kind. Positive words. Conducive. It takes a word conducive environment, conducive atmosphere, typical combinations. Part of speech adjective, making a certain situation or outcome likely or possible. The quiet room was conducive to studying. You want to study, you want the room to be quiet. Then you say conducive atmosphere in the room. Good morning, a little late. Favorable, beneficial, supportive. Unfavorable, hindering, obstructive. That's all about the editorial vocabulary. As I said, this is all about T20 World Championship. You all know India won the title. How they won, how nerve-biting it was, and at one point on the verge of losing, but eventually they became the winners. It's all about that. New beginnings on India's ICC T20 World Cup 2024 win. But what is the main idea? Indian cricket team finally did justice to favorite tag. Favorite from whom? Not mentioned in the editorial. Favorites from the public mind or from the point of view of the public or the board, not exactly mentioned. But let us see how it goes. It says they have done justice. Because they have won the title, it is like doing justice. India's long drought in ICC tournaments finally wound to a close on a glorious Saturday at Bridgetown in Barbados. India's long drought. Here, drought means it has two different meanings. One meaning of the word drought, no rains for a long time, we say drought. We also say dry spell. In this context, it means something like no title for a long time. Barren land, it goes with land, but here we are talking about titles. No title for a long time. India's long drought in ICC tournaments finally wound to a close on a glorious Saturday at Bridgetown in Barbados. The men in blue finally won a title, the ICC T20 World Cup, since the 2013 Champions Trophy at Birmingham in England. It talks about India winning the title, and last, when did they win? The men in blue finally won a title, the ICC T20 World Cup, since the 2013 Champions Trophy at Birmingham in England. Couples Devils in the 1983 ODI World Cup and MS Dhoni's men in the 2007 ICC World T20 were outsiders who stunned the globe. That means no one expected them to win. They won the title. That we all know that. Now recently, subsequently, every Indian squad that has stepped into a multi-team cricket event as one of the favorites with the weight of expectation thrust upon by a gargantuan fandom and an Indian diaspora seeking a sense of identity. Here it means the favorites of the public. You have to understand from the context. Indians have been the favorites of the public, but they could not live up to the expectations. They have been struggling. Finally, they have got the title. Subsequently, every Indian squad has stepped into a multi team cricket event as one of the favorites, with the weight of expectation thrust upon by a gargantuan fandom, huge fan base, and an Indian diaspora, those who are settled abroad, seeking a sense of identity. Last November, in the 2023 ODI World Cup, India was a team in form but failed to get past Australia in the summit clash at Ahmedabad. They played the finals, they could not win against Australia. And here, summit clash means the finals and also get past. This is an important expression you have to know. But generally, we use go past. He went past the building. For this idea, generally we say he crossed the building. Imagine there's a building here, one person went from this side to that side. Generally we say he crossed the building, but better expression, he went past the building, crossed something or someone. Failed to get past or go past Australia in the summit clash at Ahmedabad. If catharsis was essential, it finally happened in the West Indian Islands as Rohit Sharma's men snatched a 7-run win over a doughty South African unit. So many important words are there you have to learn from the context and in isolation also. It talks about catharsis was essential, it finally happened. You have to release your pent up emotions at some point. Suppress, suppress, suppress. But time comes when you can release all your pent up emotions or suppressed emotions. When did it happen? It finally happened in the West Indian Islands as Rohit Sharma's men snatched. Snatch means to take something quickly from someone. At one point, you all know, many of you must have watched the finals, and you all know at one point it was in favor of South African team, but eventually India won the title. Based on that, perhaps the writer has used the word snatched. Snatched a 7-run win over a doughty South African unit. Every cog fell in place, means everything fell in place. Things were going smoothly, went smoothly. Virat Kohli regained his touch with an excellent 76, even as wickets fell around him in the final. All-rounders Akshar Patel and Hardik Pandya reiterated, strengthen, reiterate means to stress, their value, and Surya Kumar Yadav pouched a stupendous catch. Pouch in this context means to hold something properly. The catch in this context, a stupendous, wonderful, great catch when South Africa was seemingly, at that point, South Africa was seemingly in sight of victory. Till that point, the balance was in their favor. But that particular catch changed everything. Rohit led astutely while bowling spearhead Jasprit Bumrah delivered thunderbolts that left the South Africans dumbstruck. It was because of Rohit's captaincy and also because of Bumrah's bowling, and South Africans dumbstruck means speechless, shocked, astonishing. Something is astonishing, you use this word. The second part of the editorial, Aiden Markram's men just ran into a stronger opposition, run into an important phrasal verb. What does it mean? A run into means to meet someone by chance. Imagine you went to a theater, you met your childhood friend by chance. Then you say, I ran into my childhood friend in the theater. I met him by chance or accidentally. I ran into a stronger opposition at the last hurdle. Hurdle we have got so many times means what? Impediment or block or hindrance. And their capitulation was an acknowledgement of the superior attributes that Bumrah and company possessed. Young seamer Arshdeep Singh too revealed a mature head as Klaassen and David Miller threatened to seize the game. They all bowled well. South Africa is yet to win any significant ICC silverware. They haven't won yet. But surely the men from the Rainbow Nation won hearts. A Rainbow Nation, perhaps another name for South Africa, won hearts. They played well. They made it tough for India, and if a few moments on the razor's edge had changed, Markram may well have lifted the cup. It was almost in their hands till a particular catch. After that, the whole scene changed. For India, Rohit Kohli and Jadeja's retirements from T20 signal the end of an era. Major players, important players announcing retirement, new blood is going to come, and a particular phase is over. Coach Rahul Dravid, who bowed out, will be missed too. That's also an important thing. Close on the heels of the run fest during the Indian Premier League on flat surfaces. When you look back, IPL, they would score huge 200 plus, frequently sixes. It did not happen this T20 World Cup. What is the reason behind the editorial is trying to tell us? Close on the heels of the run fest during the Indian Premier League on flat surfaces, the T20 World Cup hosted in the West Indies and the United States offered a twist. What is that twist? Flat pitches, dry pitches, no runs initially. The 22 yards drop in pitches or abrasive surfaces were never conducive for the massive sixes associated with T20s, even if batters like Rohit, as he did against Australia, seemed to perform on a different plane. They could not score. All the teams, not only Indians, all the teams, the pitches were like that. The championship's fairy tale was a manner in which Afghanistan fought towards the semi final. No one expected Afghanistan would reach semi-final. So the writer says it is like a fairy tale, their journey. No one expected they could go up to semi-finals. Men who learned cricket in the refugee camps in Pakistan while also dealing with the Taliban were resilient and sport was a winner. The ending, resilient, means what? When you face a lot of problems, you work very hard, you strive hard, and you emerge victorious without giving up, then we say you have the resilient nature. It talks about that. Resilient and sport was a winner. Ultimately, the winner, the sport. That's all about today's editorial. Everything familiar. You all must have watched the match, and nothing new here. You must have experienced all this, but you have to read from the vocabulary point of view. Let us go to questions based on comprehension skill. What was significant about the South African cricket team's performance in the final? They won their first ICC silverware. They haven't won yet. They defeated India convincingly. No. They made it tough for India, but ultimately lost. They made it tough, really tough for India, but ultimately lost. At one point, it was in their hands, but eventually they lost. C is the answer. Very good. What is highlighted as a fairy tale aspect of the championship? A particular team reaching semi-finals. Which team is that? India's win, the strong performance of the South African team. Afghanistan journey to the semi-final is like a fairy tale. Afghanistan, yes. What does the editorial mention about the playing conditions in the T20 World Cup 2024? The playing conditions, in the sense, the pitches. They were conducive for massive sixes? No. They were similar to IPL conditions? No. They included two things, drop in pitches or abrasive surfaces. Answer is again C. Yes. Only three questions because other questions are easy. Anyone can answer. No point in bringing easy questions. Damn easy, in fact. Who won the championship? Who scored 76? And I'm sure Anyone can answer those questions. Let us go to error location questions. A bit challenging, you have to read carefully. Read the first one. The Supreme Court has deferred its hearing to June 26 to await for the outcome. Where is the error? This means postpone. Defer is different, DIFFER. That is different, this is different. There's nothing wrong with the second part, nothing wrong with the third part. No, no, nothing wrong. Here, to await further outcome, after await, you should not use a preposition for. This is a verb, and this is also a verb. Both are verbs, but after the first one, you can use a preposition for. After the second one, you should not use. That is the error. Await the result. Wait for the result. Wait for the result. Await the result. Based on that, there's an error in the fourth part, not even third part. Fourth part, there's an error. Go to question number 2. The allegation that Mr. Kejriwal was a beneficiary as well as a prime mover behind a controversial excise policy that allegedly procured windfall profits for favored liquor manufacturers are quite serious. You are likely to get a question like this in the exam. Many students cannot handle. You all know bank exams quite often they ask questions based on subject verb agreement. A sentence like this under pressure not easy to answer. What is the subject here? The allegation. After that Mr. Kejriwal was a beneficiary as well as a prime mover behind a controversial excise policy that allegedly procured windfall profits for favored liquor manufacturers. All these are phrases, clauses used to add more information. Now, when you identify the phrases and clauses, you should have that ability. Then put all those phrases and clauses in brackets. Ask yourself what is the subject, what is the verb. The subject is the allegation. Then you cannot say are. Here it has to be is. Allegation is, not are. Very good. Busy life, Sairam. This is not easy to answer. You got to be a little careful. Here you are not under pressure. But while taking the exam, the same question becomes a tough question. Only if you read meticulously you can handle, otherwise not possible. The former will quell. Quell means to end something, a difficult to implement industry irritant, and one hopes the later will effectively ease the registration process. This is easy based on two words. If you know those two words, you can handle. Otherwise, you cannot handle. Yes, very good. Busy life within no time. Here, there are two words you have to know. One is former. Former has two different meanings. One meaning, former vice president, means once he was the vice president. But when you talk about the position, imagine there are two writers, one in that position, first position, the other in the second position. Then we say the former and the latter. The pronunciation changes, the spelling also changes. Latter, double T E R. Here we should use this word. Former, opposite, latter. Later deals with the time aspect. He has come later than I expected. This goes more with the time factor, but latter talks about the position, former, latter. If you don't know those two words, you cannot answer that question. Here you have idioms. There is a context also. Based on that, it should be easy for you to get all the five correct. Behind my back, when someone is not present, D. What do they say about me behind my back? No one tells you the truth. That's a different thing. He has burned his fingers in the stock market. Burned his fingers and face the music. Subtle difference. Burn the fingers means face the consequences, face the impact. B. Here, in the stock market. He has escaped from the secret police by the skin of his teeth. Means very narrow, just barely by a narrow margin. Skin of your teeth. If you have done something wrong, you have to face the music. You have done something wrong. You have to face the music. Means what? You have to face the consequences of your actions. Based on that, what is the answer? E is the answer. I immediately fell head over heels for Tom. Tom is the name of a person, typical American name. Fall head over heels means to love someone madly, madly in love with someone. What is that? C. If you have got all the five correct, you should be happy. Two are a little tricky, not easy to answer. That's all for today. Have a nice day and access the PDF after the session. Join the Telegram group. You can access the PDF. All correct. Very good. Busy life. I appreciate that. You have been doing well. Keep it up. Thank you.